And here we are. It is the 30th of September, another Wednesday night, here with our host, Ron Schneider, on the Enriching Gifts Education call. Just really excited, and as Tana said, as she was coming on, she doesn't want to miss these because there's such great information, and I echo that sentiment. So, Ron, I want to say welcome to you. Here we are again, and just appreciate you taking the time to share with each and every one of us what you share with us. So, welcome to the call, brother.
Yeah, appreciate to be here each and every week as well. So. I think tonight we were going to talk about sleep apnea, as I recall from last week's call, and that's really an important topic. I cannot believe how many people are on COPD meds and this and that and have such a problem with sleeping. Got a lot of those mouth guards that you put in to realign your jaw and stuff while you're sleeping so you don't snore so much. But, the whole industry is critically forgetting one huge component. And unless you're a hematologist, most doctors aren't even going to think of this or be aware of this. But again, this sounds so redundant, but this is an educational call. So I'm going to repeat a couple things that you've heard me say at least 1,000 times over the last 30 years. By the time the person, anybody in the world, this doesn't have nothing to do with an individual ethnicity or anything. This is just a fact about genetics, a couple of them. And the first thing is that as you age from birth to death, your body actually starts to either maintain or shorten telomeres. Telomeres are the end caps of every single cell that's the part of the DNA chromosomal strand. And as though you get older, those telomeres shorten and shorten, which slows the reproduction of the cell, or slows down the ability of the cell to reproduce itself. So we're replacing today's cells with tomorrow's cells for tomorrow's functioning. That whole process slows way, way down. And as a result of that, by the time you hit the age of 38 to 42, again, worldwide, based upon a death age of 74 to 77 years old. But by the time you reach the age of 38 to 42, your body produces at least a minimum of 50% less digestive enzymes for the digestion of your daily meals. A minimum of at least 50% or more less. So now let's kind of follow this up with COPD and the diet. So many people, and I ran across this in Amish country, I've run across this all over the East. That had nothing to do with Amish on my U.S. lecture tours each year and stuff, and the blood screening tours. But what happens is as you start to see the consistencies show up and all these variables start to become very consistent, no matter what religion, what diet, whether you're vegan, whether you're a meat eater, it just doesn't matter. You start to look at the age groups, and then you start to look at the various genetic factors. And these sleep apnea machines, they're great. What do? They're actually ozonators. They produce oxygen, and you breathe more of it in your body. But you still got to go on all these blood thinner drugs and all these other drugs, COPD medications, because this sleep apnea machine isn't enough. It works for about the first 3, 4, 5, 6 months. And then all of a sudden you're right back to just gasping for air, can't sleep through the night. You're waking up every couple hours, you're choking half the time, and snoring really bad, so you're keeping your partners or anybody else in the room awake, young children or whatever. So here's the problem with all of that. Because if you don't put people on a digestive enzyme and get that increased digestive efficiency going back in balance, what happens is it causes a lot of COPD and lung disorders, respiratory problems, is that as you age, that protein in your daily diet, specifically muscle tissue, beef, turkey, pork, lamb, chicken, anything with muscle tissue is going to have a very adverse effect on your internal blood supply, i.e. specifically the outer membrane of your red blood cells. Because as you age and that protein gets less and less fully and completely digested, a higher percentage of that is going to start entering the bloodstream as what the medical community and scientific community refer to as a floating immune complex protein, or an FIC. And what that is just simply an unmetabolizable substance that comes in from your diet. You didn't digest it down to where a cell could metabolize it, meaning to use it, or assimilate it. And so what does it do? It enters the bloodstream and it floats around. And because it's not fully digested, it's extremely sticky. It's like putting your hand up against an old yellow fly paper that used to hang from the ceiling. And once you got it stuck on there, you could shake it, wiggle it, everything. There's no way it could get off your hand. Turn it into a mess. And it's just like that in your bloodstream. So all of this mucousy protein, again, from your daily diet, this is your choice. Everybody makes this choice daily to do this to their body. And so as it comes in there, it coats the surface of your red blood cells, causing them to aggregate in these masses upon thousands of bundles. And they literally stack like quarters. They're no longer round like basketballs free floating on the top of water. They're literally stuck and flattened just like a big, huge stack of quarters. And in order for red blood cells to pick up and distribute oxygen from the lungs and the bronchial tubes to the rest of the cellular body via the bloodstream, it has to have a very large surface area just to attach one molecule of oxygen. And each red blood cell will only carry and attach about 5 to 6 oxygen molecules. So think about the surface of a basketball. So you need the entire top, the bottom, and at least 2 sides, if not 3, 4 sides around the side of that basketball. And when that starts to flatten out like quarters, and they start to stack on top of each other, well, that's where you get the blood percentages of 60, 70, 80, 85, 90. That's where your blood oxygen levels go way, way down. And it wasn't because you had lung problems. It's because you had oxygenation problems, meaning, i.e., your diet is compromising your red blood cells' ability to oxidate the rest of your body. And when it does that, you're going to have tremendous inflammation because of the stress of lack of oxygen. So all of these COPD machines, and I'm getting to a point here because I have several people, one out in Wisconsin, 3 out in Ohio, 1 in Pennsylvania, and 2 in Illinois. So I'm talking about pretty close to 10 people here that I personally dealt with and got them off those stupid COPD machines and those, not ventilators, those oxygen things you sleep with, sleep apnea masks. They're all off of it. And they all got off of it in less than 6 months, except for 2 people. And the one guy took me over 3 years to get him weaned off of it because it was an emotional issue, not an actual physical issue. He could breathe without it. His wife kept telling him, just leave it out and just don't even put yourself through that. There's cleaning, there's time, there's just a hassle with them. So here's why we're successful, but you got to go back to the enzymes. Because, again, you're treating it with a Band-Aid with these sleep apnea machines. You're not really addressing the root cause of what's compromising the breathing. Part of it is you gain a lot of weight, you get real heavy, so when your head sangs back, that little thing in the middle hanging down, I can't recall the name of it, but anyway, that rattles, and that causes snoring. So that's what that mouthpiece is for, to open your mouth wider so you increase the airflow airways. You literally widen it open. You dilate it artificially with a mouthpiece. Okay, so that gets rid of the snoring, but it still doesn't increase your oxygenation in your blood. One of the best ways to do this, and I encourage everybody, go to Walmart, get a little oximeter. It's a little clip that hooks up to the index finger at the end of your finger. And you can literally buy one of these things for $25, $30. And just start watching what happens within an hour or 2 after eating a muscle tissue meat meal. You're going to see that your oxygen goes way, way down, close to 90 or less. 1 or 2 percentage points of less oxygen in the blood, you're going to feel that. You're going to feel the effects of lower energy, lethargy. Your memory's going to go kaput. You think you're getting Alzheimer's because you can't remember things very clearly or recall things very quickly. That's all lack of oxygen. That's why you see these products on TV called focus factor, all kinds of things like this. Well, what do they actually do? They increase oxygenation. Ginkgo biloba in our multivitamin increases oxygenation. There's several different vitamins and nutrients that will increase oxygenation to the brain, to the cells, so on and so forth. But the absolute best way you can increase oxygenation and maintain it is by taking digestive enzymes every single meal. Now you're addressing the true problem on multi-layers and levels. One, you put back in the digestive capability that your body can't do and maintain for itself anymore. You're getting too old. Two, you're increasing oxygenation because you're getting full digestion of those proteins. Three, you're relieving stress from the body. You're actually not allowing the stress to be created because there's plenty of flow of oxygen. And now you've got all kinds of energy. Four, you're increasing the alkalinity, the overall acidity-alkalinity balance of the human body just through oxygenation. That's a huge factor. How does it do that? Because the cell functions way more efficiently in its metabolic or metabolism process. So it produces much less acid as a leftover byproduct of cell metabolism. So all of these different benefits you're getting, but I'm going to go back and focus on this sleep apnea thing. Because getting a sleep apnea machine and increasing oxygenation, you have very minimal results, and you're going to have hit and miss results. And those machines aren't cheap, especially if you don't have Medicare or something like that, and you got to actually pay for one and buy one. So here again, this is actually addressing the issues and solving the problems of sleep apnea. Now, changing your diet would help a little bit, but it's not completely necessary. What is necessary is you have to take antioxidants, preserve the integrity of the membrane of the red blood cell so that it can surface, absorb, and transport oxygen properly. It's not damaged because of free radical damage. Red blood cells need a perfectly smooth membrane. You start getting little hills and bumps like pimples or freckles or anything else, and it's not going to carry and attach oxygen. It needs a perfectly smooth membrane in order to attach the oxygen, because oxygen needs such a large surface area from that red blood cell to attach to. So anytime you have hills and valleys on any part of that red blood cell, that's going to prevent and limit oxygen chelation or attachment to the red blood cell. So I just wanted to, because like I said, this is a huge problem. It's getting bigger and bigger. My brother used to do it, and I know when he got on enzymes, literally within 3-4 days, he didn't need his machine anymore. And then I sat there and I went through the Amish tour. I went through the U.S. lecture tour, and I've ran across people literally that just, I stop in late May, early June, and then I go back in October and early November, or late September, early October. And by the time I go back there 3-4 months later, problem solved, issue done, dealt with. And you can get rid of the machines. And for me, I'd much rather get much better nutritional value and assimilation at a cellular level. There's one benefit you get with the digestive enzymes, but you're also getting savior to your body. You don't use them up. They aren't damaged nearly as fast, the cells of the human body. So you don't have to rely on that faster turnover because of shortening of telomeres. So it's just a plus, win-win all the way around. But the three products I encourage everybody to use if you have any kind of COPD or lung problems or sleep apneas or anything like that, respiratory issues. First and foremost, the digestive enzymes. Second and foremost is the probiotics, because that at least deals with the digestive issues. And then you've got a multiple choice for the third one. Either choose the metabolic complete or the heart algae. Extremely high antioxidant property value nutrients. And now you're preserving the membrane of the red blood cell. You're reducing the free radical damage that's created from every time our body uses oxygen to carry out cellular functioning with. There's a leftover byproduct of oxygen when it's used as a substance called a free radical, or an unevenly paired electron molecule. And that causes damage, oxidation, hardening, breaking down, things of that nature to the internal human body. And it's not always internal, your skin, which is external, but everything comes from the inside out. And so what you look like on the outside is really what's going on the inside. And so many people still don't get that. are you really, truly as healthy on the inside as you look, feel, and think you are on the outside? And I can tell you, just from traveling the world and over 68,000 people's blood, personally myself, over the last 30 years, no, you're not. Over 90% of people have no idea the diseases and the conditions that are developing in the human body. They don't feel them yet because they haven't developed enough to compromise your health to where you're actually displaying the diseases or the symptoms of the disease. So that's what I wanted to talk about real quick tonight. That was my topic. Hopefully everybody understood that. But as always, we're going to open it up for live comments, questions, and answers. So anybody has any questions about any part of that, please go ahead and we'll unmute and let you go ahead and ask your questions or give your comments. So Dover, you want to go ahead and open it up for questions?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Absolutely, I do. And I don't know if it's not necessarily a question, but it's a comment based on what you said there. And so you take, if you guys were listening, which I know you were, everyone, but it just hit me, 68,000 blood screenings.
Oh,
and you divide that by 30, and I'm with you, minimum, yes. But even at minimum, you divide that by 30 years. That means you've done 2,266 blood screenings a year. There's only 365 days. So that means you've had to have done. So now I'm going to divide that by 365 days. So that means you would have had to have done 6 blood screenings, 6.21 blood screenings a day for the last 30 years to, at minimum, accomplish 68,000. I want to go. I'm going somewhere with this because I remember, and this is for all of you new on the all of you new on the call. You know, I've been there, and you, and you've been there, and you've seen this man spend 18 hours at a microscope and weeks at a time doing it for years. And you know, let's just take this last summer, right? And you spending the time that you have for the training center. So that's a few months off. I mean, just to accomplish what you've done and how many people's lives you've changed. I mean, when you break it down to the numbers, because they don't lie, that's impressive, Ron. That's amazing. So wow. Yeah. I don't have a question. That's what I wanted to bring up. But anybody else have a question, please?
And I'm glad you did do that because I want people to know I'm not just your old jolly run around the mill nutrition guy that owns a nutrition company. I'm totally committed for everybody to get the best quality of life they can. And Dover's speaking specifically about when he and I interacted back in December of 2006. It was December 2nd through the 8th of 2006 in Cancun, Mexico. And I sat and I was voted the best vendor of that event. Why? Because people said, man, that dude, I don't know who he is, but that guy is dedicated like I've never seen before. Even on that Thursday when everybody took off and went to the Mayan temples and stuff and the ruins, I was there from 6 a.m. in the morning that Thursday until 1 a.m. Friday morning. And I never, ever took a meal. I never got up to go pee or go to the bathroom. I literally sat in that chair from 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Sometimes we always started by 8, but I was always there at 6:30, and I never, ever once left before they closed the building at 10 o'clock that night. And I'd usually come stumbling in the room somewhere around 12:30, 1 o'clock. And I'd get right back up at 5 because I was over there by 5:30 and right there to open up at 6 when the guys first went in to clean the place up and stuff. And that's how dedicated I have been all these years. And even before I even met Dover in Cancun, and how many events did we have? 4 different years or 2 sessions in a year, 4 different sessions that I was there doing this whole educational process. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, you know, in that 1 week, just one single week, I was doing 168 to 175 people just in 1 week. And now multiply that by a month. you've got 150, there's 600 people just in a single month. And when I go out on my lecture tours, heck, there's months where I can go out there and do at least 600-700 people in less than a month with the big motorhome lesson. So, it's a huge number, but it just reflects not only my commitment, it really reflects my educational value and my understanding and my expertise and hands-on experience. And that's what I'm trying to help everybody understand, is this hands-on experience. When you go through that many blood screenings in that many years, you start to see real consistent patterns, regardless of genetics, regardless of age, regardless of sex, regardless of ethnicity. And you can just sit there and just tell somebody exactly what's going on with their life before you even start much and more than just a simple conversation of about 4 or 5 questions. That's how good I've gotten at doing all of this stuff. But there's no coincidence why, when you feel bad, you're feeling bad. When something goes wrong, why it went wrong. I've been able to identify the reasons for all of it. So that's what I'm here to share with everybody on these calls each week. And, I really am here for all of you guys to get the best health that you can possibly get. And this product line that we have under the Enriching Gifts label supports that whole functionality and process. And I know you have a lot of different labels, a lot of different companies to choose from. So I appreciate each and every one of you for coming back to me. But I'm telling you why people come back and why people stay with me, because they consistently get results. And I've had so many people go off, try something else, try some network marketing opportunity, try a different brand because it was cheaper, and everybody always keeps coming back. And I'll tell you, I had another call from a gal today. Her name is Jareen Singer. Jareen, are you on the phone call tonight? No, she's out of Rapid City, South Dakota. And I hear from Jareen about every 2 years maybe. And then when she comes back, she goes, here I am again. And I hate to say it, I'm so embarrassed, just like Jeanette Marquette used to do. I'm so embarrassed, but here I am. I've been out there trying this and that, and yours got a little too expensive. But you know what? There comes a time when your health means a whole hell of a lot more than money, especially for the people that have money. And they can't find the results out there with anything else other than my product line. So that's why I'm here. That's exactly why I'm here. And just like this whole thing with sleep apnea, I ran into a few people recently, and I thought when Sanj brought that up, I'm like, wow, that is a great topic, because it's not talked about near enough, and nobody's really doing anything except for prescribing more drugs, getting more people on these crazy sleep apnea machines, which a lot of times will do you way more harm than good, especially if you don't clean them properly every single time before you use them. Because they can put bacteria and viruses and all kinds of mold and fungus growing inside those things if they're not cleaned thoroughly and properly and sterilized every single day. They'll actually cause more problems than what you have now. So I appreciate you bringing that up, Dover, because I don't talk about stuff like that, and I think a whole lot of people really don't know that much about my past, my history, and what I've done for the last 30 years. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're very welcome. And Ron, I'm just really so grateful for that. I mean, it just hit me when you said 68,000. I've heard that so many times at minimum, and I never really digested that. That's a lot of frickin' people that you've shared. You've done their blood, and just so much. And that's why. And I've set you up for this. I'm glad this is perfect. I don't care. It's a live call, but I asked the question for a reason. How much longer do you have for the training center? And the reason is, it was twofold. One, because I care. I've been there, and I know what your vision was, and I can't wait to see it. And then two, there's a lot of more of this that I want to get out there for people and make it readily available. And I have an idea that I'm going to share with you later. But I just want to sincerely say thank you, because you know what? I've seen it time in and time out. And I've done, it's not just Cancun, Ron, and I know we talk about that a lot. but it's been multiple Cancuns and trips, and it's been, multiple, workshops and places around the country where we've been, whether it's New York or whether it's in Seattle. And I've seen it time in and time out where you just, pour yourself into your craft, into your expertise. And this message, and you've said it, and I'm going to say it because I don't even like hearing you say it, because it's like a guy who's starving for people to get their product, and that's so far from the truth, because you're not starving. You know what this product does, and you know what it is and what you've done and the lives you've changed because of it. My point being, with the $1 billion, I'm a $1 billion company that nobody knows about, and you're absolutely right. And so get the training center ready and done, stuff moved over, because we have a mission. We have something we have to accomplish that's near and dear to my heart. That's why I'm here with you. And I know it's even more near and dear to your heart. So I'm on the soapbox, but it just, you struck a chord with me, and that 68,000 number just really hit me. So I'll shut up and let's open it up. If anybody has a question, we got Ron here, so let's utilize his time wisely and really show him appreciation, because he pours a lot out to all of us. So anybody have a question or a comment? And I think we shell-shocked everybody, Ron. They have nothing to say.
Okay. I just hope everybody really understood what I was trying to convey tonight about this whole COPD and the sleep apnea and all that stuff. I mean, it doesn't have to be anywhere near as serious as it is for most people. And just a couple little simple things, and it's not a big dietary change or anything. If you can reduce your muscle tissue meat consumption, you're going to benefit from that, switching it more towards seafood. And we talked about this dietary change and stuff, and the negative influence that muscle tissue, meat flesh has on the human body as you start to age above the age of 40, 45. So just wanted to bring that up tonight because Sanj brought it up last week. And, that's another thing. Sanj and I and Arvin, and, we were all over Canada. We were over in India. We were over in Pakistan. I mean, we were all over the Middle East and stuff too, just like you and I were down in Cancun for several different visits and times, weeks at a time. And back when Tom Anna was traveling with me, we went to India and Pakistan, and I'm trying to think of Amsterdam was another one. England was another one, So, yeah, I can go down memory lane. Like I said, I've lived an extremely full, very, very active, vibrant life. And what a blessing it's been. And I'll always thank the Lord for the life that I was able to live so far. And I cherish every day that I wake up and able to go out and try to do something with my day. So, but yeah, anybody has any comments, questions, go ahead and ask them. And if not, then I guess we really can close it down. I mean, it's about 40 minutes, almost 40 minutes. Anybody have any questions, comments? Anybody? Okay. Well, I do have one update, right. A little bit of bad news. I called to check up on my delivery date of our multivitamins. They've been back ordered and constantly move back. I kept telling everybody my last conversation, the ship date on those from manufacturing to me would be on October the 3rd. I called up today. That has actually been moved back to November the 12th, because we still are waiting on 3 different ingredients for that formula. So the earliest we'll be able to get vitamins out to anybody, it looks like probably somewhere around the 20th of November. And that's the latest. That's as of this afternoon. And another thing I want to talk about a little bit, and we've got a good supply of product in right now, but I've noticed, and like I said, this year I was just dumb, stupid lucky. I had a great year in 2019. We poured all that extra profit into inventory, so we had 10,000 bottles of almost everything by the time February and March hit this year when COVID-19 came up. And the supply problem is only going to get a lot worse going through the winter and even next spring, because I think there's going to be a reoccurrence of COVID-19 along with the cold and flu season. And so I look at, we should have had vitamins in June. They were ordered in February of this year. And here it is November. Maybe we might get them in. But every time I turn around and start checking within a week of their ship date, well, nope, we still haven't got those in. Got to move it back a month, move it back a month. And then there was something going on with the sprouts from the Steromax. Some reason we're not able to get the actual seeds to create the sprouts with. And again, that's a supply issue. So I've got plenty of sprouts in stock right now. Steromax, we just got a 10,000 bottle order in 2 weeks ago, about a week and a half ago, it was a week ago Monday. And so all the back orders have been sent out and everything. But I'm telling you, if you want this stuff to make sure that you have it on hand, whether you're a business or whether you just use it on a regular basis for you and your family, I would encourage everybody to start ordering by cases, not by bottles. And it's not because I have a shortage. We got a pretty decent supply of most stuff. I know what I'm going to run out of is probiotics, heart algae, and we're still out of the vitamins. So just kind of putting that out there. We are running low on the heart algae. We've got less than 6 cases left. I won't get that in until potentially December the 3rd. Same way with the probiotics. The next time that's been on order for several months. And if everything ships according to the right date and stuff, I should be getting that restocked December the 3rd. But just the way things have been going the last 3-4 months with my products coming in, I wouldn't count on anything at this point. I just want to make people aware of that. I just want to be honest with what's going on at not only manufacturing, but the entire supply chain around the world. Some things have gotten better. Transportation is still slow by at least a couple of days. But raw materials, these ports, as they pop up in different parts of the world, they're closing down. So now if you're getting raw materials from that area of the world or that specific country, there's nothing coming in and out until they actually release all of that stuff. So I guess we got a good supply, and I know we're coming into one of the busiest seasons for my business, which is October, November, December. That is by far our best quarter of the entire year. So I don't want to be running out. And it kills me to say we're still out of vitamins. But Steromax, as critical as that is for people that have the cancers and things like that, the enzymes is critical for everybody every day of their life. Don't want to see anybody run out, and I'm doing everything I can. I've spent all the money I need to. I'm having problems no matter how much money you want to throw at it, trying to get these products back into stock and keep them in stock. And I even order bigger orders. Each time, like this last time when they all came in January, February, and December last year, I had things coming in and double the amounts. Instead of 3,000, it was 7,500 or 10,000. The enzymes I always order in 10,000. I ordered 15,000. And so it's going to be a problem. It's not going away anytime soon that I can see. At least probably not until after next spring, next year. And I hate to say that, but that's just the reality of the business end of this whole thing. So, well, with that being said, and if nobody else has any questions, go ahead. Did somebody have something they wanted to ask or say? No? Okay. Well, Dover, I'll go ahead and close it out for tonight then.
All right. Thank you, Ron. Fantastic call. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week. Everyone have a great evening, and we'll be here next week. So take care.
All right.
Thanks again, Ron.
Have a great night. Bye-bye.